There is a common belief that the most dangerous people are the loud ones, the ones who threaten, who shout, who make their power known. This is a mistake. The most dangerous person to cross is not the one who roars like a lion, but the one who suffers in silence, like an ocean absorbing a wound. I'm talking about Pisces, the most intuitive, most empathetic, most emotionally attuned sign of the entire zodiac. They are perceived as soft, gentle, perhaps even weak. And behind that gentle heart, there is indeed a softness that can heal the world. But make no mistake, behind that same heart lies a quiet, immense power you should never, ever underestimate. Because when you hurt a Pisces, something unique happens. They may not plot revenge. They may not even say a word. But karma, life, the universe itself, will defend them in silence. My name is Anya Sage, and as a psychological astrologer, I've spent my life translating the universe's whispers into practical wisdom. And one of its clearest, most unwavering whispers is this: you do not, under any circumstances, hurt a Pisces. Today, we're going to explore exactly why. We will journey through the reasons this is a cosmic law, and I promise you, reason number 2 will change the way you see them forever. Have you ever felt it? That sense that a Pisces you know, a friend, a partner, a family member, seems to feel things on a different frequency than everyone else. A casual remark that others would brush off seems to land on them with the weight of a stone. A sad movie doesn't just make them sad, it seems to haunt them for days. This isn't an overreaction. It's a glimpse into their true nature. Their sensitivity is not a flaw. It is the surface of a vast, deep, and ancient emotional ocean. And before we dive into those depths, I want to hear from you. Have you ever witnessed this quiet, profound strength in a Pisces? Or perhaps you are one, and you've felt this your whole life. Share your sign in the comments below. I truly love reading your experiences. They form a constellation of shared wisdom. Now, let us begin our descent. To understand the karmic law that protects them, you must first understand the world they inhabit. You have to understand the nature of the soul you are dealing with. This brings us to the foundational layer of their being, the reality that they feel pain more intensely than any other sign. This is our reason number 20. For you, an argument might be a storm that passes in an hour. For a Pisces, that same argument is a seismic event that can alter their internal landscape for years. The harsh words you forget in a minute are, for them, etched into their memory. What you see as a small, casual slight can feel like a deep, penetrating wound. It doesn't just hurt them, it leaves a scar, a subtle, invisible scar that they will carry long after you've moved on. Imagine their emotional body not as armor, but as a highly sensitive skin, capable of detecting the slightest shift in temperature, the gentlest breeze. Now, imagine taking a rough, sharp object and dragging it across that skin. That is the effect of casual cruelty on a Pisces. They don't have the calluses that many others develop to navigate the harshness of the world. They exist in a state of perpetual openness, which is the source of their incredible compassion, but also their profound vulnerability. This leads directly to reasons 19 and 13, which are two sides of the same coin. They suffer in silence. When a Pisces is truly broken, they don't lash out. They don't scream. They retreat. They pull the vast ocean of their emotions over their heads and disappear from view. You might send them a text, and they'll reply, "I'm fine. Just tired." You might see them at work, and they'll offer a faint, watery smile. But behind their eyes, a world is crumbling. This silence is one of the most misunderstood things about them. It is not weakness. It is a profound, heartbreaking act of love. They retreat into their pain, not just to nurse their wounds, but to protect you. They cannot bear the thought of their sadness becoming a burden on others. They would rather drown alone than make you feel the guilt of having pushed them into the water. Their silence doesn't mean they are okay. It means the damage is so deep, so absolute, that words have become meaningless. It means they are trying to process a level of pain that they know you would not be able to comprehend, and they are sparing you from the sight of it. Think of the sheer strength that takes. To be in agony and to use your remaining energy to build a quiet wall around it, simply to keep it from splashing onto the person who caused it. This is the nobility that the universe takes note of. Now, let's go deeper. Let's talk about the very architecture of their soul. Reason number 14. They absorb everything. A Pisces is not just an observer of the world. They are a participant in its every emotional current. They are cosmic sponges. When they walk into a room, they don't just see the people in it. They feel the unspoken tension between a couple in the corner. They absorb the quiet anxiety of a person waiting for a call. They are saturated by the collective mood. This is not a skill they turn on and off. It is their factory setting. They are constantly, passively, filtering the emotional pain of the world around them. So, when you direct your own pain, your anger, your frustration towards them, you are not just adding one more drop to their cup. You are pouring poison into the town's water filtration system. You are contaminating the very mechanism that works tirelessly to purify the emotions of everyone it touches. Hurting a Pisces adds to a burden they are already carrying for the entire world, a weight you cannot possibly imagine. To make this truly clear, I want you to perform a small meditation with me. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Picture a vast, impossibly calm and crystal clear ocean. This is the soul of a healthy Pisces. The water is so pure, you can see straight to the bottom, where beautiful, intricate coral reefs of creativity and intuition thrive. Strange, wonderful, gentle creatures. Their dreams and hopes swim peacefully. The surface barely ripples, but as you watch, that single drop of poison begins to expand. It doesn't dissolve. It spreads in a silent, greasy film across the surface, blocking the light. Slowly, insidiously, threads of black begin to sink downwards, coiling around the vibrant corals, choking them until their color fades to a dead. The entire ecosystem is thrown into imbalance, not by a violent storm, but by a single quiet act of pollution. This is what you do when you hurt a Pisces. You don't just create a temporary disturbance. You poison a rare and beautiful sanctuary. And you force them to live in that polluted water, spending years, sometimes a lifetime, trying to filter out the toxicity you introduced in a single moment. So we understand the delicate ecosystem of their soul. We understand its depth and its terrifying vulnerability. But what happens when they grant you the key to this private world? What happens when they, against all their better judgment, decide to trust you? This brings us to the sacred bond of trust, because a Pisces, despite all their past wounds, approaches connection with a rare, almost childlike purity. This is our reason 18 and our reason 8. They trust completely. When a Pisces decides to let you in, they don't give you a part of themselves. They give you everything. They hand over the keys to that vast ocean we just visualized. They show you the secret coves, the vulnerable reefs, the places where their deepest dreams are born. They trust that you will be a gentle custodian of their soul. This is not a transaction. It is a sacred gift. It is the purest form of faith a human being can place in another. But what happens when that sacred trust is broken? This is where things get truly dangerous. This is where the quiet, gentle laws of empathy are superseded by the loud, iron laws of the cosmos. We are now arriving at the heart of the matter, the climax, the part where we understand the consequences. Many people, when they betray a Pisces, feel like they've gotten away with it. The Pisces retreats, goes silent, and eventually may even offer a strained forgiveness. The world keeps turning, but they are mistaken. Because of reason number 5, life itself strikes back for them. Pisces do not plot revenge. They don't have the stomach for it. And more importantly, they don't have to. The universe, in its infinite and mysterious wisdom, has a special affinity for these gentle souls. It abhors a vacuum, and it abhors the desecration of purity. When a soul this gentle is mistreated, the universe itself acts as a balancing mechanism. The negative energy you put out by hurting them doesn't just dissipate, it is registered, it is recorded, and it will be returned to you. Not as a whisper, but as a roar. This isn't a fairy tale. This is spiritual physics. You cannot create a profound deficit of kindness and love without an equal and opposite deficit appearing in your own life. It may not happen tomorrow. It may not happen next month, but it will happen. Karma is not a sprint. It's the place friends go when their own worlds are falling apart. It's a warm, safe harbor in the relentless storm of life. When a Pisces loves you, they offer you this sanctuary unconditionally. When you take that warmth, that safety, that unconditional acceptance, and you use it, exploit it, and then discard it, you are not just breaking a heart. You are desecrating a holy place. You are burning down a hospital. You are poisoning a well. And the universe takes special, personal notice when its sanctuaries are violated. Which brings us to the final reveal, the reason we've been waiting for. The most potent and misunderstood truth of all. Reason number 2. They may forgive you. They may smile at you. They may even, in their infinite capacity for empathy, try to understand why you did what you did. But they never, ever forget what made them cry. Every single tear shed in silence. Every night spent staring at the ceiling with a hollow ache in their chest. Every moment of profound, soul-crushing disappointment is a debt. It is a debt registered by the universe. Karma listens to those tears, even when no one else does. And karma always, always comes to collect. Let me tell you a story. the story of Mark and Alara. Mark was a man full of ambition, with a charisma that could charm anyone. He met Alara, a Pisces, at a time when his life was a mess of failed projects and broken confidence. Alara saw not the mess, but the brilliant man underneath. She became his sanctuary. She listened to his rants at 3 a.m. She celebrated his tiniest victories as if he won an Olympic medal. She lent him money she couldn't spare, telling him, "We're a team." She poured her entire ocean of belief into him, and with that energy, he began to succeed. He finally landed the big promotion he'd been chasing for years, and then he vanished. Her texts went from being answered instantly to being seen hours later, then days later, then not at all. He was busy, he said. He was networking. The truth was, he had drained her sanctuary dry and moved on to build his new life, leaving her in the silent, polluted wasteland he'd created. She cried, but she did it silently. She was heartbroken, but she told no one. On the surface, Mark had won. He got away with it. A year passed. Mark's career was flourishing. He was the golden boy at his firm. But a strange chill had started to creep into his life. His closest friend and business partner, a man he'd known for a decade, suddenly accused him of stealing an idea. The accusation was baseless, a wild misunderstanding, but the friend's heart was hardened. The partnership and the friendship dissolved overnight, leaving a gaping hole in Mark's professional life. Shaken, Mark tried to call his other friends, the ones he used to party with. The conversations were awkward, hollow. He felt like he was speaking to them through a thick pane of glass. He was surrounded by people, but he had never felt so utterly, profoundly alone. He would sit in his expensive apartment, staring out at the city lights, gripped by a profound loneliness he couldn't name or explain, a soul-deep emptiness. Mark would never connect the dots. He would blame his bad luck, his friends' paranoia, the stresses of his job. But we know the truth. The universe was not punishing him. It was simply mirroring his actions back to him with perfect, chilling accuracy. He had taken Alara's unconditional trust and support and created an emotional void in her life. And now, karma had meticulously carved that exact same void into the very center of his own soul. He was forced to feel the echo of the silence he had imposed on her. The debt was being paid. After the storm of karma, after the cosmic balancing of the scales, there is a quiet, final truth we must face, and it is, perhaps, the most important reason of all. Reason number 1, hurting a soul this noble, this gentle, this pure, says far more about you than it could ever say about them. To be willing to break something so beautiful, to take advantage of a heart that offers only sanctuary, doesn't expose their weakness. It exposes a profound and frightening darkness within your own character. It proves that you are unable to recognize the sacred when it is handed to you. It shows a poverty of spirit. Harming a Pisces is like breaking a sacred promise you never even knew you made. A promise to protect the gentle things of this world. Their nobility is one of the universe's rare treasures, and taking that for granted doesn't just scar them temporarily. It stains your own soul permanently. So as we conclude, let us remember the Pisces paradox, a heart as gentle and yielding as water, yet protected by a cosmic force as powerful and relentless as the tide. Their capacity for love, forgiveness, and empathy is nearly infinite. But the karmic price for betraying that love is a bill you do not want to pay. If this resonated with you and you want to keep exploring the hidden truths of the universe, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Your support is the energy that keeps this channel going. And a quick heads up, content like this often walks a fine line. It could disappear at any moment, so be sure to save it and share it with those who need to hear this message.